nothing to be done for Gravitas here. Very well, Kozio here, and that is the ultimate connected.
Themselves into a false hope. Final 20 minutes on, he's gone!
Only player to lock in this game. There is just no damage for the Chiefs. Braden gets the first pentakill of the LCO.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is, of course, Casual Fridays here at the DoorDash LCO, and oh, look at that! It's dinner time again with my watch I'm wearing. Exclamation DoorDash in chat if you're hungry. Order yourself some scrumptious, diddly dumptious foods, and I'm sure that'll be there quick, smart, so you can all feed yourselves for dinner and not have to leave the damn house or get up or stop watching the show either. So they're very important things. But before we get into what is going to be a very important matchup, Pentanet and Peace. We have some content. So let's have a quick look at the content as well. We do have some from the fans. Who's hitting it up? Oh, it's Dar Antares, the man, the legend. We're going to call him the content king for the moment because he is dropping bombs. Hey, at LCO, here's some prediction memes for tonight's games. So very, very solid. Skimmy, you're laughing. Run me through them.
Oh, I was laughing so much, and I couldn't even hear myself over Juves and Rusty there. Yeah, look, mate, I mean, this guy here, he's essentially trying to get himself as an unpaid employee on the roster, isn't he? He wants to get a part of the LCO squad. He's doing the work for the community as a whole. I think he's representing their thoughts and feelings with some of these fantastic memes. And maybe by the end of the year, we really, truly will have a Dar Antares Meme of the Year award. So, you know what? I'm appreciative of these ones. These are good.
Yeah. I like the Chiefs Mammoth meme. it's just a people's elbow, man. It's the Rock just coming down.
Yeah, so I guess we'll see how these memes stand up towards the end of the night. But we do have one more from the fans, and it is how someone's watching at home. What is it? It is Martha, and she is watching LCO at Sushi Train with AirPods.
Yeah.
You're the Sushi Train? Man, I'm
You
jealous. I'm so jealous.
Can I just say, Martha, you didn't need to do that. I appreciate the commitment, but also just use DoorDash and watch it from home.
Very true. You have a solid point. Like, DoorDash could grab that, bring it to you, and you'd be extra snug as a bug in a rug, like Jubes was saying earlier. We're all in our own rugs, or robes, as some people call them, but, you know, they're very comfy, very warm, and I feel extra casual, even though I usually only wear casual anyway. But that's me, and now this is another little bit of content coming out of the pros. And I think this is going to be hard for a lot of people at home, but let's see if you guys and the pros can find the error in these champions' abilities.
Kayle, Kindred, Kayle, Kindred, Kalista, Caitlyn, oh no, Kha'Zix, Kog'Maw,
KO, Karthus, Kennen, Kay, Kindred, Kalista, Kayn, Kay, Karthus, Kayn. Yeah, nah. Go on, name them.
Karthus, the Karma, Karthus, Catherine, Katarina, Kayle, Kane, Kennen, Kha'Zix, Kindred, Clem, Kog'Maw.
Damn. Am I like really below average right now, or what?
You're still pretty.
Jesus. Okay, yeah, everyone's dog shit at this. Oh my god. This 380 carries that. I completely forgot.
It's like I don't even play the game, to be honest.
What are you doing there? Kog'Maw.
I didn't name the ADs and I play them. That's a bit stupid. Okay.
oh my god.
Oh guys, oh my god. Ah.
Okay, yep, I missed an 86, cool. Really bad again. Kog'Maw as well.
Kayle,
Katarina, yeah, should get that. And Kirsty has a one trick, cool.
That seems like over half.
Probably the most you got.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
There you go. Chaz and Shock both smurfing there with the champions that started with K. I got pranked. I just want to point that out. I got pranked by everyone in production. So, you guys at home, I'm sorry. Sorry, that's all right. Now, I'm going to be wearing that cape, just like I'm wearing this robe for the rest of the night. But let's start to talk the teams that matter here. It's going to be Peace and Pentanet. And last time these two teams went head-to-head, it was certainly an interesting affair, but let's talk Pentanet first, because they have been copping a few L's, more than anyone expected coming into Split 2. Let's see if now is the time where they can shine and maybe turn everything around for themselves, Rusty.
I mean, this would be the game to do it, right? They're on 3 losses back-to-back-to-back. Chiefs, Gravitas, and Direwolves. Definitely not the results that Pentanet.gg nor their fans were probably expecting coming into this split. And the honeymoon period of quarantine, like Juves mentioned the other day, is over for them. So they have no excuses other than their performance just isn't up to par. And they've got a lot to work on. If you think back to their game yesterday, it was the Mundo versus the World. And Pabu, you know, not going to put it lightly, it was a shocker. He knows it. We all know it. It was definitely not the standard of jungling that we've seen from him in the past. He got completely smacked around and had an absolute roughie. So lots to improve here from the side of Pentanet.gg. And not just the Pabu performance, I will say. It is a whole team issue.
Certainly is. And now let's have a quick chat about Peace as well, Skimmy. So there's been a couple of roster changes at the moment. They are still using Lisa there in the bot lane, and they've seen more success by doing so. So give me your thoughts on this lineup where it currently stands.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you see somebody come into a roster, you wonder what things are going to change. Obviously, this is Lisa that's played with a handful of these players already, so the synergy was already there, but it's a case of playing into a new position, right? You heard from Violet not mincing his words. I was a bit worried at times, but sometimes you see differences between scrims and then stage games when the stakes really matter. What was interesting for me the most is how they beat the Chiefs, right? They seem to be the Chiefs' kryptonite. They were a team in such high form, but Peach just had that slight bit of extraness towards them that just gets them across the finishing line. Whilst in that game, you saw skirmishing really, maybe not to the extent of the game that we just had. Still very much a situation where Peace were able to showcase what they can do and how they can excel. And I think when Peace's bot lane is running on all cylinders, they're a team to really be fearful of.
They certainly are. Now, Jubes, both these teams going head-to-head yet again. Are we going to see the same old 40-minute thriller, or is it going to be a shorter affair like we saw in the first game today?
To be honest, I think this game blows up either way. I think there's the way both teams have been playing, and I guess the volatility in which they've been playing with, like Pabu's been on these early game junglers trying to make things happen. Obviously, Diana not necessarily the case, but he plays it like he's playing Xin Zhao sometimes. And then, you know, Chiefs much of the same, sorry, not Chiefs. Peace much of the same, very volatile team. Having Lisa still. Sorry.
Nothing.
What?
No, so yeah, I mean, okay. I think in short, it's going to be a short, explosive early game.
Good. Now, it's time for the pre-game interview. Who do you have down on the sidelines?
Yeah, well, in the side lanes, I've got Pabu and Babip. Gentlemen, thanks for joining me. Pabu, nice to see that the hair is separated from the screen now.
Thank you, thank you.
Pabu, off the bat, talk to me. What's it like, you know, trying to, or what are the feelings bouncing back from a game like yesterday?
I mean, I've had a lot of shocker games in my career, right? Like, very rarely do I bomb a game that hard, but I don't know, I've lost a lot, so it's not the worst feeling in the world. Like, I've kind of had to, you know, work my way from like the bottom up, so I've been in some pretty terrible spots before, you know, like, I have confidence in my team that we can always pull it through in almost any situation. Like, you know, we've played some banger games like MSI, so our potential is really high, so it's really hard to get sad about the future when, like, I know that we can be good.
Yeah, 100%. And Babip, looking pretty sharp yourself individually and as a team, particularly, you know, with the introduction of Lisa, probably shocked a few people with the results that you've been getting. So how's the mood in the camp now?
I mean, whenever you have like any form of roster swap, I feel like there's always, if you're going through a rough time with one roster and you have any roster swap, like you go through like a honeymoon phase and the environment like gets better and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm proud of Lisa. Like I said, I tweeted the other day, because it's pretty like, I don't know, I would say you have to like step up just to play a role that you don't main, just in like the biggest weekend or like the biggest week of the split for us. So yeah, I'm just proud of him.
And I think for me personally, at least from a spectator point of view, that was the best performance I've seen you put up in a Peach jersey. Maybe you disagree, but that's how I feel. So what did you think of the game? And I guess what confidence has that given you to give us, like, you know, Babip, Super Saiyan Babip, if you will?
Obviously, like when you just play best of ones, it's like depending on what you show is like, obviously it's gonna have a lot of variance in the best of one. But yeah, I think it has less to do with the roster swap and just more to do with like me just reflecting on my gameplay and kind of like sticking to my calls on the map and what I want to do. So I think it's just yeah, that's pretty much all.
Pabu, what can we expect from Pentanet.gg? Obviously, you know, we all fell in love with the team over MSI and last split. Are we going to expect early aggression, some calculated plays instead, maybe a slower game? Because I actually made a bet this game was going to explode early on. But do you have anything for us?
I mean, what we're good at is, you know, like those later scaling on team fights. We want to play dragons, but the way that we like to play and the way that we think it's good to play is to really push the game early. So, you know, this game's gonna get like it's gonna get bunkered either way. Like either we're really sad or we're really happy.
I feel like that's League of Legends in a nutshell. You're either really sad or really happy. But and then so I mean, you're coming up against Babip. It's no secret where he's come from. Is that a little bit of added pressure for you, or do you kind of take this chance to relish it and really test where you're at?
I wouldn't say added pressure necessarily, because I've played against some pretty good players in my career, but I do have a lot of respect for Babip, and I think that he plays the game pretty well. I think at the start of Peace, he was really struggling with like kind of like some of the later game deploys, and it just seems like he was getting like pulled around the map by his team. But if he's more confident in himself and more willing to trust himself, then I think he is for sure like quite the player to go up against.
Oh, well, there we go. Nice little compliment each way before the game. Gentlemen, best of luck. Game of the week for me. So super excited. Make sure you put on a banger. Good luck.
Thank you.
There you have it. Firm handshakes all around again. So it looks like we are going to have a potential big matchup. I guess we'll see how the initial phases of the game go. So far, we've enjoyed what we've seen coming out of both these teams out of the gates, and then maybe sometimes it goes a bit south, sometimes it goes north. You know, we did see a lot of last split that Pentanet in particular were going for the scaling champs, trying to play the late game, and did manage to make a lot of comebacks happen to get those Ws throughout the split. However, those comebacks not seriously happening in Split 2. Now, let's have a quick chat about predictions as well. Which way have we all gone for this one? Rusty, I'll start with you first.
I don't know until I see it at this stage after the first game. I've gone for Pentanet.gg. I knew I had on this one. For me, this is actually an underdog pick given recency and form. I just think that there is enough class in this roster. They won't be tilted after their last performance. I think Bio showed me a lot of promise to come into this game, and he'll be able to handle Appy, which is a half of the key to their success. And I think as long as they go back to what works for them and they don't continue to try and like develop a strategy that's clearly not working through their bottom lane, then I think you'll get to see a PGG that can take down Peace.
Okay, I think I want to point out that I got another one wrong. I think Gravitas got tipped by Twitch chat, so now I'm almost even, 19 and 14. Let's see how I am at the end of today. Skimmy, this is your chance to catch up to Rusty if you get this prediction right. How you feeling?
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm going on recency as well in that same regard, right? I think Peace have been in a bit of a steamroll, especially taking down Chiefs, so sitting in pole position right now and saying, look, we built this roster to try and come back from my MSI sorrows and say that we should have been the team going over there. And I think with the amount of aggression that they can find, the early game should favor them, as we've seen so many teams find success with. I think overall, though, it's a very close call because we've seen these matchups in the past be kind of draft dependent because they feel so evenly matched up. And as much as we like to say, yeah, draft matters, in some cases it certainly does when teams are this close. But I've given it to Peace because I think recency and just taking down the Chiefs, it'd be a good buzz in the camp.
Okay, now let's jump over to page numero 20. And Jubes, you want to take me through why you're going for Pentanet?
Much of the similar argument that Rusty made, in the sense that I think they have a lot of quality. And I think if there's ever a game to kind of, we've got to call a spade, right? We got Lisa as a makeshift support. And if there's ever a game in which Peace aren't going to be able to utilize their full strength, which is that bot side of the map, it'll be this one against Pentanet, where they've been struggling. So if you consider like all those elements, this is, for me, the game that Pentanet must win if they want to really show us that they're still the team. They're still the big dogs in the yard.
Certainly are. Now, with the Dash Pass at the moment, you can get yourself 2 Ripper boxes or 2 box meals for the price of 1. So make sure you exclamation DoorDash and take advantage of that. I know the boys here on the desk were very excited about that last week, or on Wednesday rather, But a little birdie has told me that the game's already ready. So Pentiment Peace is coming at you right now.
Awesome. Well, let's crack on with it. The game that a lot of people look towards to say, well, where are these teams at, right? These seem to be the juggernauts of the region. They were, especially for Split 1. They kind of made a bit of a two-legged race towards the finishing line. But coming into this one, it hasn't been anywhere near as easy for them. And this will be a bit of a break point halfway through the split to start to say, okay, form check.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a huge form check. I really like what Juve said there as well. This is kind of the no excuses. You have to bring everything to win this game. I think for PGG, 4 and 5 actually being in the negatives win-loss is devastating. You definitely want to make a statement here. For Peace, being able to win this game keeps them at the top, right? It means that Chiefs have to win to stay with them. So definitely a lot on the line for both of these teams respectively, just in very different ways it feels like. And you know, consider that this is the finals rematch. We've mentioned it maybe once or twice here. And while it is a rematch of the finals, it certainly doesn't feel like it with both of these teams and their current performance. But recency favoring Peace.
It does, as we kick this draft off with a bit of a bang. If we actually date our mind back to how the season, or the split, started off, it was Peace that locked in a top lane Nocturne. So, although we know that Nocturne can flex, it was what Appy utilized last time. But Pentiment have opened up with an incredibly strong bot lane. They've had their questions, they've had their critics. People saying you need to start making just more things happen, right? You can't go around just talking smack and not sort of deliver the results. Well, an Aphelios and Fresh, arguably one of the strongest pairings in the game.
Yeah, cheeky little hover there from Halo. Diana should be their jungler, but Evelyn seems to be just tormenting Pensinet.gg, and in a couple of interviews they said as long as the enemy jungler doesn't pick Evelyn, we will win the game. They lost that one, but the sentiment remains. Braum's going to be the champion they go for instead here. So I'm actually really glad that we've gone for the picks that we did at the top of the show, Skimmy, because we're seeing a lot of it.
So they are, and for good reason too, because Braum just offers so much, especially into all these compositions that are building bruises that want to come at you. They don't want to take those 50-50s, they just want to jump straight in your face, look to try and be the playmaker, the fight starter, and so on. So we get to see how Pentiment close out their initial start to the draft. They've gone for the Viego, so clear direction from them is they want to start fights. They need the damage to ensure that the Viego can find those resets.
What did we say at the start of the show? It was Ziggs,
LeBlanc,
LeBlanc, Braum.
Ziggs,
So all we're
Braum,
missing is the
Hecarim.
horsey man in this lobby. We'll have it all. Of course, looking at the finished champions that we have right now, Aphelios Thresh is the bottom lane that I actually expected and spoke about from our first draft of the day. I do think that Thresh just enables so much. But this is, of course, as a result of having Lulu and Karma banned away. Thresh is naturally the choice that you want to go towards then. Is kind of just the best in role. Braum is a response that says, like, we're not going to be Nautilus or Leona and have a hard laning phase, but still be very strong level 6 onwards with Engage. We're going to protect the team, right? We've got Diana, we've got Nocturne. We kind of already have soft Engage tools. Braum doesn't provide that raw crowd control, though. You might be looking at, say, a Varus or an Ashe even style AD carry down in that bottom lane, something that could engage to work with the rest of the team when it comes to team fighting. We will see if that's where they choose to go.
There'll need to be something strong here, Rusty, because Praetov's most played champion, actually tied most played champion with 22 games, is the Aphelios. That's over his 5-year professional career. So a lot of games under his belt. He knows the champion inside out, and you think how long that champion's been out for. So he knows it through and through, and especially starting to creep back up into the meta. But at the same time, Violet and Praetov have both been fighting for that crown as the best AD carry in the region. So good to see what champions are up and available. Kaiser still springs to mind as one of his go-tos.
And Jinx was the other one for me, because Violet should be the carry, right? And I'm not surprised that Lisa's just picking the Braum. So we're like discussing the composition of Peace. It could just be a case of like Lisa's found comfort on Braum, right? And he thinks it's good. Violet's comfortable with the Braum. It all makes sense. We've seen their bottom lane anyway. Jinx is good because it can outrange at times. The Aphelios, Varus is good because it's more stable, I would say, and scales into like one item spike. So it's up to Peace. I would personally be picking Varus, but if I was Violet, I might be considering something like a Jinx. Fiddlesticks, Skibby.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, isn't it? We've yet to see a Fiddlesticks. This split we saw a long time ago, combined with the Nocturne. It just means that you turn the lights out and somebody dies.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, well, you don't need an enchanter. Violet's just that confident he'll pick it blind. He'll just pick it and play it with a Braum.
Yeah, let's just call it the Jinx style champion, shall we? It's probably with his comp, he'll be the Wits End tank Cogmore. At least that's what you would expect. There's also a world, and I shouldn't say it, where it goes mid lane depending on the champion they choose. I like AB Cogmore.
Maybe Cog,
and
yeah.
Lucian Braum's just nasty.
Sure.
It is a very aggressive bottom lane. I don't know how equipped Elisa would be for that. You would expect, again, Lucian mid, Cog Braum bottom. I'm just planting the seed of the most unlikely thing.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Lucian Braum. It gives you so much very quick passive stack up for the stuns, for those trading patterns, but not as easy as it's made out to be. And you know how good Halo's been in recent form, playing at Lucian 2 in the mid lane. So no surprise there, no wild curveballs. The biggest one has to be this Fiddlesticks. Bit of a throwback here for Pabu, who we've yet to see it play in quite some months.
Yeah, he actually has a really good combo as well here with the Ornn engage. Definitely a lot of access around the map that can come from that one. We've also got the Lantern to enable you a little bit further. I actually do like, overall, the composition that Pensnet.gg have put together. They have good damage, good scaling, good team fighting, pretty solid laning overall. A couple of places where there could be risks, you know, could be concerns, but I think in general they just have such a good and comfortable composition for them.
Yeah.
Viego being able to steal a couple of the enemy champions is super potent also. I mentioned this 2 days ago, Skimmy, when I was with Elfish Guy, but imagine you stealed away, you know, the hyper Cogmore, the hyper carry Cog as Viego, you become the Cogmore and murder the enemy team, so there's a lot of potency there as well.
Yep.
In general, big fan of what Pensnet.gg have put together.
Yeah, we talk about champions that are most played, and we talk about comfort. Whilst we're looking comfortable, obviously the players themselves are too. Ornn, 27 games for BioPanther. He's nearly rocking an 80% win rate on that Rusty. It's pretty absurd to think about that this is kind of a Pensnet through and through style of play where, sure, if the early game doesn't go necessarily as planned, then we have that late game insurance policy. We've got a lot of champions that can be buffed up. The items are there, the damage to follow up, the CC to guarantee that resets can be found for this Viego. It seems a very much Pensnet-esque draft.
So a couple of things here, though, for the peace side of the coin is that mid lane could be a pretty tough matchup for Chaz. Halo may be able to get a lot of priority and run away with the laning phase very early. Babip should be able to clear really fast. While Fiddlesticks has his advantages, right, of being able to do blue and Gromp, being able to do red and Raptors, there's still a lot that Babip can get done in Rush 6. And top lane does seem like it'd be pretty favorable for Appy overall early as well.
Well, let's crack on with this game. It's Peace taking on PGG, a repeat of the Split 1 finals. And it's that time again, my pleasure to introduce the man known as Midlord, or in some neck of the woods, known as Draft Lord. Mate, welcome back. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good, mate. I'm doing good. Look, first round robin complete. How would you rate the team's performance so far?
I think it's pretty well, and we started off not the best, but haven't been on the upwards this week, I think. And we aren't planning on
taking down
stopping
some
here.
big teams. Yeah, I'm sure you're not, mate. I mean, let's talk about this game, this matchup in particular. It was a very close game last time you versed Pensnet. They had, what, Infernal Soul and double AD carries? How have you prepared for them this time?
Yeah, that's true. We always prepare each week for every team, and even through PGG.
Anything different in this draft, though? Obviously, we're looking at a Cog without the Lulu or an Enchanter, the Braum. If we're talking about this draft, you know, Lisa put into a position where he has to play a little bit more of a demanding support.
Yeah, we always do our draft better, right? Always do our draft very good, right?
Well, that's why you're known as the Draft Lord, mate. I always look forward to the timing of it. Quick question on the opposing side. What do you make of Pensnet's draft? They've thrown you a Fiddlesticks to deal with.
We just do the visions and fights. I think that's fine. We will get a blue trinket like everyone in level 9 and just make the world everywhere. We only fight if we find where is Fiddlestick.
I wish you guys the best of luck. I'm excited for this matchup, and we'll catch up soon.
Yeah, thank you.
There you have it. He's not meant to mince his words, is he? It's just as clear as daylight. This is what we're going to do,
Yep.
and this is how we're going to play.
He knows what he's about, so we'll look for level 9, shall we?
Yes.
Not 5 kills this time around, Skimmy. So much more calm, yeah, much less stressful to do a coach's interview for us and for the viewers who are just missing the action being called out. Yeah. One thing that we have to touch on here, because it's extremely big, I don't know if you guys saw this, because it wasn't on the screen. We had the graphic saying the Midlord interview, but we had Chaz losing his mind laughing and Halo kind of buried in his own chair. This man teleported level 1, everyone, before minions, because he forgot to buy items. So He's had to teleport very early in the game. Chaz was losing it, laughing at him, but as we'd expect, he's going to win lane, Skimmy, just not with a teleport to cheat recalls as successfully.
Well, if nerves were ever a thing, maybe that is the visual proof.
It's certainly a kind of nerves, but hey, 3-minute recall with a control ward. Oh, not bad.
Good hook. That full set to cleanse here. Well, it may be in a bit of trouble right now because that's a wave to crash. Hobu was hovering in the tri-brush, but no, it looks like they just want to crash the wave, collect themselves the turret plate, and reset as well.
And I can't say I'm surprised that the lane is going the way it is. That's what a 4-minute plate for the bottom lane. It's the slight CS edge. More so the free recall that comes from this is going to be a massive victory there for Praedyth. And in terms of recall timing, he's got the full pickaxe. So a couple of things for this bottom lane trade is, one, it was a longsword start from Violet, so he's not looking to win lane. 2, it is exhaust, cleanse, so no heal, no combat spells. They're not really aiming to win the lane themselves either. They're just existing and scaling. So things going, again, kind of as expected. And it's not a Lulu Kog'Maw, so the trading is not as great as that style of lane with a Kog'Maw and an Enchanter. And it's the lethal tempo, not Hail of Blades. So they are just scaling down in bottom lane. Doing what they can.
As you would imagine from this duo, and I think we're going to see a pretty calm start to the opening of this match, right? You want to see Babbitt put his jungle in clear, hit level 6. The same would be true for Pabu. No doubt, right? The same could then be said in the top lane where Appy wants to hit level 6 to try and do the TP ganks with his ultimate. And Biopanther there to respond. So we're getting closer and closer to that break point. With the Dragon up and available. Interesting to see with these camps now cleared, whether teams will decide to go for that early contest.
Yeah, and just speaking towards those clears quickly as well, Skimmy, Pabu did pass from red and Raptors towards bottom side of the map, so things kind of, again, playing out as the map dictated. Towards the other side of the map here as well, Babip is now top side, looking at his Gromp, pathing back up towards that way, and Biopanther is going to be stuck under his turret. So both of these teams, and in terms of perhaps an expectation of early aggression, you know, a lot of early kills potentially on the board, not being seen just yet. Most of it is just about farming, just about hitting level 6 on those junglers and maybe on those solo laners, and then we'll see what they're able to get done across the board.
Oh, Worth and Producer, we got a slight screen issue, so we're just waiting for that one to be resolved as we jump back into the action. Can't see your screen, Rusty. Well, I suppose it sounds pretty obvious. You just can't really do too much, so yeah, not really much to talk about to start things off with, as you just mentioned, right, because they are just going for the full clear. We're just waiting for the climax, waiting for the level 6, and then we can see what is going to take place. I don't even think we have any replays to discuss just yet.
No, it's just such a fantastic point, Skippy. I'm stuck on it. You know, if you can't see your screen, it is a bit of an issue for competitive League of Legends.
I just had to go out there for the classic Andys, right? You know, yeah, a bit Captain Obvious, but you know what? I've said it, so deal with it, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone saying, why did we pause? It's a pretty valid reason. It's definitely not something that's happened in-game, because like we highlighted, not a lot of action, not a lot to talk about. We're not at the mid-lord level 9 yet either, Skimmy, so we've got some time before they blue trinket spike in this game. And I like this because it means that he's got 2 parts of the game that we can look at now, Skimmy. It's not just Draft Lord, it is now the level 9 Lord as well. To get those blue trinkets on.
I wonder if this is going to become a segment, much like the Durantaris meme show, just how many good nicknames you can come up to give Midlord, hey, because at this stage he's writing the script himself. He's really coming together with all these bangers that we can just piece together and look to see how the team performs as a whole. But level 9 a fair bit away. I suppose drafting it back to the game at hand as we wait for, I believe it's Praedyth, who was experiencing the screen issue, to reconnect. Did you, I suppose, if we look at the draft as a whole, was there a team comp that you preferred, or do you think the whole narrative of these two teams being very draft dependent isn't as relevant in this case?
I think for like draft preferences, and I did kind of say this during the draft, but just to reiterate it as well, I think I personally liked Pentanet.gg's draft more. I think stability through all of their champions, just to like run through it again, it's Thresh, Aphelios bot lane. I think that is a crazy powerful lane. And has a lot of good scaling as well as early spikes with like the single items. Viego, I think we all know Viego at this point, right? But just as a mid laner, is extremely oppressive in his own right. And then the Fiddlesticks is that one curveball that I think we would say as champions go on their draft. but we've seen it. We know what it can do. And it's not a Fiddlesticks Nocturne combo, you know, the Gravitas special from Split 1. It is just the Fiddlesticks, but he has an Ornn to work with him, Bio and Tanks. I mean, for me, that's just right up their wheelhouse. So I do favor that draft.
Sully is good enough, and unfortunately, things are taking a little bit longer than expected. So fortunately, we get to bring back Mac. So slide back in.
Hey.
Come back over there.
How you going?
I hope we didn't interrupt you eating or anything, mate.
No, I'm fine. I was just enjoying the play. Well, what we were going to do is now off the table, which was leak all of our deepest and darkest secrets. But we don't have time for that because the game's almost ready. But I did just want to point out, we did have some questions in chat, which you guys already clarified. People were asking, did Halo, is there a bug UI glitch? Did he forget his items? What's going on? But yes, you know, that was answered. He did forget his items, and there was a lot of laughing going on in Twitch chat. So everyone certainly enjoyed that, the face palming and the laughing from Chaz there too. So that certainly was something. And it looks like the game's ready. So on that note, gentlemen, take it away.
Saved. You get a 5-second snippet there of Mac. And we're back to the action. We get to see some League of Legends. So here we go. Level 6 is what we're looking for. Level 9 is what we're fearful of. And my question before we went into the pools is, would we wait for 6 before they decided to go for the objectives? But Pabu said, I'm just going to start this one off myself.
But look at Diana, first of all. So Pabu doesn't get to have a sweeper on his trinket. The effigy that he places that will activate right now. Babip knows, however, is just not going to be able to get there in time. So well played from the priority that exists from the bottom lane of Pentanet.gg. But Babip was actually just looking to contest that one, I think, and wasted a lot of time, to be honest, getting over there to contest it. When he could have taken the Scuttle Crab for free, perhaps set up at the enemy red buff some vision, or got a free reset off. So just losing out in that trade overall is the Jungler of Peace.
Unfortunately for him, the vision does not equate to any answers. He will be able to pick up that top Scuttle and get so dangerously close to level 6. Now, you mentioned the red before. It's soon to spawn. He's got a ward, and he's going to invade it. Pabu is fresh off a reset. He's got himself completed Salt Boots because he is running the Predator Keystone.
Yeah, it isn't a 7-minute red buff. It was a little bit slower because Pabu was doing the Raptors at the same time, but it is going to spawn there. Pabu level 5, Babip level 5. No ultimates. Teleports exist, but again, no wards to actually get the reinforcements there. I'm looking at Biopanther with his ult maybe as the way in, or ticking 6 off a camp, and Pabu's about to hit that and could ult over.
Oh no. He's burnt the smite. Is he going to ult over? He's not. They are so close. They are literally touching, but they have no idea that somebody's on the opposite side of that wall. Trade once again taking place in the bottom side as the Chakrams are putting in a fair bit of work. The sentry turret buffed up and boosted.
You know, the interesting thing there, Skimmy, is they both were keenly aware. It wasn't even a ships in the night situation. They're still dancing in the jungle. Babip kind of just keeping the Fiddlesticks at bay. And knowledge is power. When a Fiddlesticks hits level 6, you want to know where he's ulting from. You want to be there to, at the very least, counter gank or stop him from getting it off. Because it's just such a potent ultimate that you can use. The big surprise party comes in.
Storm could spell disaster here. Whether or not turning the lights off will do much to try and prevent him navigating it to full effect. If the fear connects, it's job done. The rest of the team can then follow suit with a whole bunch of damage.
Shoes on the other foot.
A little bit of misery. Babip, oh, he's taking it. Back-to-back red buffs. From top to body goes. There's the Crow Storm. There's the fear. There's the follow-up. And there's the rest of the team looking to try and find that kill. Not going to be enough. He burned a flash. He's baited out 4 members.
Yeah, realistically, just the ultimate for the flash. It's funny because this exact thing was happening on the other side of the map at Pabu's red buff and Krugs. But both teams, so Babip's got both red buffs, Pabu's able to get both Krug camps and just going to move away from one another. Nothing actually really gained or lost there besides the summoner spell for the ultimate cooldown. And things will potentially even fizzle out and calm down for the next minute to 2 minutes while we wait for Pabu to get something done. Unless, of course, Babip can find his entry to a fight with the ult of his own.
Yeah, and that's the question right now, isn't it? When you talk about solo laners having these teleports, it's only going to be top lane that currently have available, but does Appy take that as his moment then to try and force a play like we've seen Bio do time and time again? Because bot lane's getting pushed in, a second turret plate soon to fall on down, a sizable lead, no mind, for Praetor Aphelios here. Babbitt continuing to play the map and play catch-up because he's down a little bit of individual CS, but he's looking to pick up the Heralds.
Yeah, the bottom lane lead isn't massive just yet, but it has been a consistent amount of pressure, which is just alleviating and opening up so much of the map for all of PGG to work with. And this weak side, BioPanther, I'd say in a similar vein perhaps to the way Violet has been playing so far, has been suffering in silence but hasn't actually fallen too far behind, is simply existing. Halo is the one who's able to put in some actual damage and meaningful work in mid if he continues to hit these trades. First items are probably a point that we'll look at as like a big break point for when these teams want to open up some fighting.
Well, junglers are both buffed up right now, continuing to clear. Babbitt the one in a driving seat. At least when it's concerned to counter jungling so far, looking to try and keep tabs as to where Pabu is, and they continue to dance around the map in similar veins. Violet does get that reset, and he is able to rush the Wit's End. Such a great item on the Kog'Maw here. The mitigation is going to be fantastic first of all, but just the ability for the uptime.
Almost a must purchase, really, though. When you've gone for the Braum Kog'Maw, you don't have the Lulu, you don't have an Enchanter, there's no Karmas, you know, to keep you alive. You're going to have to do it all yourself. Nice hook again. Nothing going to be followed up. Doesn't actually reveal the whereabouts of the rest of his team. And Lisa just kind of brute forces his way into the area by himself. But it works.
It does. A few different variations of the Kog'Maw. Not only in the LCO, but globally too, with some just building the randoms, going full tank and saying, I can do whatever I want. We've yet to really see it shine here, though.
This may be a game for it, Skimmy. All he really needs to do is auto-attack, work with the Braum, right? You've got a Lucian for damage as well in the physical department. Plenty of damage besides yourself. You just want to keep yourself alive if you're the Kog'Maw. This could be the game when you do Wit's End Randuins or Shield Bow even in there.
Plenty of damage threats him to be careful of. And knowing that when that Flash and Cleanse is down, very susceptible. No one trying to buff him up with shields or HP boosts. Got to trim that wave away once again. The second dragon has spawned. Pabu doing a double leash, going for the scuttle and that. These are aware, but they have been spotted on wards.
Yeah, he's really hesitant. He's holding at the maximum distance of leash away. But we'll be able to secure this one. Not going to get any entry. And that was, of course, because Pabu, without the smite, needed to ensure there was no stray Braum Qs like you saw. To snipe that one away. Regardless, it's secure. That is 2 Drakes. That's 2 pretty early Drakes as well here, Skimmy, for scaling objectives that exist. As Babbitt may continue to take away the jungle, they've got themselves a meaningful condition on the map.
Certainly do. They got themselves that policy to play for. Whilst we stereotypically discuss these two teams in very different veins, right? Peace, the early game team, the team that wants to fight. PGG, the team that likes to try and wait until late game. They're looking to try and find some early skirmishes right now. A 30-minute first blood is what we're after, and that is what Chaz will find.
He's going to walk back mid lane with the Diana, so he's going to push Peace away. Halo with no mana of his own to speak of here has to be pretty careful, as this wave will crash in. Decoy going to threaten here also, but maybe just the reset. Nice little first blood here, and it's huge that it goes into the hands of Chaz, because it was the plated steel cap rush from the Viego. That's a really sad cannon. And beyond the plated steel caps, he's now going to be able to move towards his first item at a faster pace. That extra 400 gold in hand. About 3 waves collected there.
Lane state just that much more bearable. He's done a fantastic job keeping up here with Halo. He has just completed his own shot and gone for the Gale Force. Babbitt's here to hold the wave and summon a Herald just before that one falls on down. Wants to try and sneak in some turret plates before they disappear in about 10 seconds. Not much that Chaz can do to prevent this crash from connecting.
Yeah, just going to do some damage to the Herald. Try and reduce the full damage of the charge. I believe did that pretty successfully, but of course that delays the recall. Thankfully has the teleport to get straight back here. We'll see how much money he's able to spend here also. Yeah, that was literally a full Divine Sunderer. That's how long he'd been sitting mid for. Lots of money in his pockets, and a good moment here. You know, you've got Herald in a minute 20. That is going to be a pretty deadly Viego finally running around on the board. The Lucian still, of course, with a mythic of his own, but the potency of his opponent has gone up.
Well, the viewers seem to share the same sentiment as yourself there, Rusty, viewing Pentanet as the underdog on this occasion. Historically, in their very short rivalry, it has been PGG favoured, I believe 8-4 in terms of maps taken. But as current form suggests, people seem to think that Peace might just have the slight edge, even with Lisa playing in support.
Which is curious, but I guess the recency of 3 losses in a row for PGG weighs heavy on their minds. In this game, as it stands as well, you don't have a win lane, win game Violet, something that Peace did use in a couple of their last games. And we're yet to really see them break open the map positively for themselves, besides the CS advantages that they have. Granted, those have given them the slight CS lead overall. Nothing more.
Certainly are targeting the spot lane, however. It was a 4-man roam squad that were looking to put some pressure. That turret's still pretty topped up and healthy. Easier said than done. Might be a case of throwing away their lead.
Both teams have actually split their vision to the opposite sides of the rift completely. 3 control wards in the top river for Peace. Most of Pentanet.GG's wards bot side. So while the turret was healthy, it is inevitably going to fall. It is just far too risky to stay there. It's far too risky to even get into that jungle area to even contest the vision in the first place. So that will be the first turret of the game. That was the first blood of the game. It was the first 2 objectives of the game as well. But Peace are at the very least trading with these heralds. We'll find another opportunity to use it. And this could just break open the mid-outer from 2 heralds being picked up alone. It's a possibility.
Certainly could, though. They'll need something to try and break open this game, because as far as this season's stats suggest, by the 15-minute mark, Peace have always been ahead by at least 1,000 gold. Pentanet have been down around about 715. The games really haven't been going the way of Pentanet, which was a bit of a criticism of them at I was going to say Worlds, at MSI. They got bullied by some of the more seasoned teams and shown what it looks like to get a 10k gold lead in as easy as 10 minutes.
Yeah.
They've changed a few things around, and the early game hasn't necessarily tightened up anymore.
They were shown the hard way how to snowball early games out, no matter what you threw at them. You'd find a way to pass your socks off. Herald going to be summoned, so that is just broken. It jukes us.
It does. Second Herald, traded for the second Dragon, with the third soon to spawn. There it is. They guarantee that they get their first turret of the game. Now they play pretty in the Pixel Brush. It's going to be happy that gets connected. Not going to spell shield that one. Not going to spell shield the Ornhorn either. Out goes the Paranoia. Halo in trouble. Forced to dash away. He's got exhausted, but out comes the Culling. And it's as easy as that for him to take out Biopanther. Ornn is removed. The tank on the squads. The death sentence connects. It's onto Braum. That's not the target they're after. Whilst the Dragon has been leashed, it's now PGG fighting at a deficit.
And I like the idea from PGG, right? They were getting a lot of damage onto Halo, doesn't have teleport. You can probably just chunk him out and look for the objective, but way too deep. Biopanther, the second that he headbutts the wall right next to everybody, Peace just turn and burn him. He's not next to the rest of his team. And it ends up being pretty terrible in the end. Pabu is on a flank, but he's been spotted.
It's a Crow Storm, here it comes, looking for the fear, too little too late, or is it? Chaz finds one, they remove the support, Chaz finds 2, gets himself a double, there's the Philios on the score sheet, PGG playing from behind, they betted it enough time, they got the TP in, they got the reset, and they got the Dragon too.
They're just looking to get him. Flash didn't want to be used by Chaz, but he will give it up in the end and find himself the 3rd kill. Huge teamfight victory for them. And that wasn't even a Fiddlesticks ultimate in the perfect position. It didn't do a lot, right? But it did enough, and the rest of his team goes insane. Chaz popping off in this Viego.
He's just looking a little bit too hesitant on that occasion, not wishing to bite the bullet. So concerned about the threat of that Fiddlesticks, and yeah, we're going to run it back with this this replay as it comes in. It's just to zone them from actually smiting.
Yeah, so Babu gets exhausted here as well, just as he goes in and uses the Moonfall. It doesn't actually do any damage really at all there. Praedyth, while he was exhausted, is able to just kite back, walk away, and during all of that time, Chaz has just murdered everybody. You know, the teleports are available there from Biopanther, so the window of opportunity to perhaps fight from Peace was dwindling. Big mistake for them in the end. Come to execution. Big win for PGG.
Huge win, because now they put themselves in a very accelerated situation when it comes to taking the soul point, and it's a Infernal Soul for them as well. I mentioned before, you got a Viego, you want damage, you got an Aphelios, you want damage. Well, that adds Just an extra bit
Do they even kill him?
of damage source to the recipe.
They didn't spot Babip, of course, he is missing. They have a control within the Tri-Bush, so he can do what he pleases. They are looking. But he has a Randuin's. Like, again, do they kill him? It'd probably have to be Babip. Like, getting close to 100 to 0 combo on a pretty tanky Chaz. So I feel like that was pretty fruitless. Definitely doesn't pay dividends. In fact, it was just a monumental waste of time.
Evenly matched so far. PGG, after that successful skirmish, have started to find themselves some pretty sizable leads in all the right places. Most notably Chaz. 4-0. He's rushed himself a Randuin's. All of the Forge God used to zone out the members of Peace. Red buff has been picked up here, stolen away by Praetor.
I think Violet actually might have got that one. I think he got that with his own ultimate there, so just scrapes away with it. Yeah, I think Praetor might have his own one. Pushing mid lane, Nocturnal.
Well, they've actually caught Pabu on the flank right now by the Wolfpack, looking to try and take him out of the situation. Glacial Fissure does not connect, does not matter, as he puts up the door and disengages back to the safety of his own turret. Halo posturing aggressively. There's the flash, the Q. It doesn't connect. They're looking to try to play these passives. They want to get some auto attack uptime. They need to connect with some stuns. There's the dash forward. The Stride Breaker to try and slow them. 11-13. Remember, that's a 90% slow. But it's not enough to catch out any individual from Pentanet.
Recalling on Vision here. Appy's probably going to get cancelled. We'll see how he plays it. Spell Shield wasted.
Got to be careful here. He might just get caught up for free. He certainly is.
That hurts. That's just sloppy play again. Recalling just on Vision, not recalling with your team, not recalling on your control ward that's right there in the Pixel Bush. Gets punished for it nicely by the side of Pentanet.gg. And now they have a 4v5 for a fair amount of time here. With a minute 30 till the Infernal Soul awaits Pentanet.gg and a Baron present. They're going to choose to take the aggressive route. They are going to hit the Baron straight away.
And why wouldn't they at this stage? Because all their carries, all their damage sources have 2 items complete. Babbitt goes face checking and, well, he will regret that decision in a heartbeat. Another 4v5, this time against Peace. Very early Baron acquisition. Can Peace put up a contest?
Teleport present, so they may all Pabu.
Oh my gosh. The Crow Storm onto 2. Violet standing away from so far away, but he can't do much. The rest of his team is dead before the fight can truly begin. He has to burn Flash as well. And the Baron Dance proves to take down so many.
Yeah, and this is a much more refined PGG. It is going from bad to worse. There was the point in mid lane, right, where Fiddlesticks gets caught, Pabu, the flanker, becomes the flanked. But they're going to get the team fight afterwards regardless. And it starts with an easy pick, right? It starts with a single mistake. A 1%er in League of Legends skimmy, just where your recalling gets punished. Baron gets picked up with another kill and Infernal Soul in 30 seconds. Chaz with teleport ready. Doesn't matter that he's top. Probably even be able to get a recall off and spend another 7 million gold that he likely has. And Infernal should just be all but secured.
What a lead. 10 seconds for that Infernal. They've got themselves the Baron buff. They've got double Randuin's.
Okay.
An upgraded Kraken Slayer. They have damage, and if you turn the lights out, what can Peace do to answer back? Lisa jumps in. He may just fall on down. There's the reset for Chaz. Looking to try and take out Biopepper, who's been put to flee, but he can't die. He doesn't. He survives. It's a double kill now for Chaz, who makes it a triple kill because this Viego is just so far gone. He's out of control. And he's showing up when it matters most.
Yeah, he's straight up hunting for Violet. Knows there's no summoners available for the poor, unsuspecting Kog'Maw, but he knows now. The question is, what could you do?
The flash, the stun, the emote flex, and the delayed quadra kill. This is the Chaz we know and love.
Actually plays with him. He's stutter stepped a few times there, just watching Violet. And then for just a moment, you're like, oh, maybe I'm making a mistake here. This Kog'Maw does damage. So he executes him, gets himself the 4K from the fight. We'll see this one more time because they're engaging on Lisa, who is in Narnia, is very far away from the rest of the team. And it's as simple as getting a reset for a Viego can influence the fight. And at the moment, this disjointed 4v5 that gets kicked off by Peace, just not enough. We're going again.
We're going again. It's Parber that leads the line so far. He goes gold, and it's Praetor that snipes that kill from the back line. He's now 4-0-6. The mid lane is crumbling. The side waves are in ruin. PGG can certainly rotate and find more with the next 60 seconds that remains on this Baron buff. Looks to be the case right now as they are picking apart the opposition here today and showcasing we've got Baron, we've got a 10k gold lead, we've got an Infernal Soul. It's a GG.
And would you look at that? This team holding the minion wave for just a second. Mid starting to get pushed in here as well. You've got a big flank angle from a Biopanther on this Ornn. Very hard to dodge the Ornn ultimate on the angle that he currently has. They may look to dive. Here they go.
There's the Ornn Horn. What can they find with it? That's a massive moonfall by Babbitt, but is it big enough? He doesn't survive. He falls on down. Halo finds one. He gets an all-important shutdown, but can he live to tell the tale? He's running away, but can he survive the Chaz reset angle? Who's become a Kog'Maw, who's searching for the kill in the fountain. It does not matter. He is the only one that survives a 4-for-1 trade, and PGG may just look to end the game.
Yeah, Praedyth may fall, but it makes no difference. You need a miracle coming out of Halo to stop this one. Chaz still alive and very healthy.
Nexus turrets themselves are crumbling. There's the Crow Storm looking to kill him in the fountain. 1v1, it works. You can't live. You can't survive. You can't top yourself up that easily. It's going to be a delayed ace, but an ace all the same. And it wasn't a 38-minute game. This time, it was a dominant 26-minute victory from the side of Pentanet.
We're going to let them last hit the Nexus here, but they will do so, no doubt about it. Pabu also flashing the Direwolves emote as he dives the fountain against Peace. I guess making a statement that Direwolves may best us, but you will not. And a nice clean victory, really. That was a PGG that we saw from Split 1. That was the glimmer of hope that you want to see from this squad coming back to us in Split 2. And let it be known that you can't beat them 4 times in a row.
Well, you saw what it meant for them last split, right? They said we wanted to go for the perfect split. No defeat at all. And whilst it hasn't been as rosy red as they would have hoped, Mac, that is certainly a victory they can be proud of.
Yeah, they certainly have to be proud of that one. Looking like the form they had last split finally brought back and really putting on a show up against Peace today. But look, getting these W's on the board is what it's mostly about for them at the moment. Yes, they've already got a couple of L's, but the issue is they shouldn't have that many L's, not from what we expected coming into Split 2. So finally finding their feet and playing a comp that really just shouts out Pentanet. You know, Pabu, we saw him in MSI playing a little bit of fiddle, and he's brought it into the LCO, and it is looking pretty damn good. Maybe, you know, there were a few points where the ultimate, maybe it was questionably used, but it still inevitably got some spells out and gave long-term advantages to PGG in this game.
Most definitely did. And the one big thing for me was kind of in the pre-match conversation, Mac, we did have a talk about the inexperience of Lisa in his role. And I think that was something that was definitely exposed in this one. There was just a solid Thresh performance from Decoy. The Lantern's always on point where they needed to be to save his team. But Lisa was always the one just a little bit too far out of position. This is the perfect example of it. Just too far separated from his team, perhaps, you know, thinking that he has the resources of the jungler in his mind when he is the health bar of a support.
I think as well, something else we need to note is the curse of the Braum against PGG has been lifted, and the curse of Thresh in the DoorDash LCO also seems to have been lifted, and finally getting the W on the board. The win rate was very, very low for Thresh here in the DoorDash LCO, but Pentanet playing it to a T, Decoy in particular. So I'm sure they're going to be very excited about that one. And a little birdie just told me that we've got Jubes down on the side lanes there. Let's bring him in and have a check. What did you think, Jubes, of that game?
Pentanet-esque game.
It certainly was. Just playing all their champs as perfectly as they can. Now, does that mean... Rusty, okay, you're pulling out ahead in the predictions. So, Skimmy, no catch up there for you. And I think, Rusty, now you've solidified that lead.
Yeah, also, Mac, let it be known I went all in predicting them in the chat casino. So I'm getting some points for you, mate. Watch out.
I have a feeling that Peace were very much the chat favorite prediction by like a certain percent. So that's another L for me too. So thanks, Twitch chat. Enjoying it. Now we're going to be even very soon. Speaking of even, you know, Pentanet's certainly getting even. Who do you have down on the side lanes there, Juice?
Well, I was going to say, you know what's not an L? Having Praedyth down in the side lane. Apparently he doesn't take many L's. He's taken a few this split more than usual, that's for sure. But maybe the best game I've seen from you and Decoy as a collective so far, and it happened to be against Violet. Talk to me about this game, Praedyth.
Yeah, we even though we've been doing very poorly on stage, I think we're like, it never crossed my mind that we weren't the best team in the split. It's just every time we came in with a different draft, or like just draft ideas, or we just wouldn't execute on stage well, and so we just said, you know what, we'll just go back to the Aphelios, Thresh, Ornn, run it back, get our free win, so people can stop worrying for a little bit. And I didn't notice that all our losses, I think, are against Braum or something, right? Maybe I'm...
Yeah, a big chunk of your losses are against the Braum.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, that's what we're for. We do the analytical work. You just watch the broadcast, and then you can take that back to your pick bands. But the other thing I wanted to mention or touch on was, does this instill a level of confidence back in the team, or it never left?
Yeah, as I said, definitely. Like, I know myself and a lot of the other players, we never stopped thinking we were the best team. I think we were probably playing a bit nervous on stage or whatever. I'm not sure why, but hopefully, yeah, this changes it for future weeks, because we've definitely been playing very poorly when it matters. And I think we all know when it comes to best of fives, we'll be just fine.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, this was like a very clean game. Like, there was no real hiccups coming out of you guys, so something to be very proud of. Now, what are you aiming for as a team, as an individual? Like, is it first place, or you just don't care? You just want to make it to the best of fives, and if you got to play 3 best of fives, 2 best of whatever, how many best of fives you have to play, that's what you'll play.
When we went to MSI and we started screening the MSI teams, I noticed that they play the game a lot different. So one of my goals is to try to play the game like them, which is like a little bit faster, playing off every wave. So I think as if we go into the playoffs with like 2 styles of gameplay, where we can play the Ornn Aphelios, or we can play like the Kalista, diving, taking all the objectives. If we can play like 2 different styles going to playoffs, I think that's like my main goal, 100%. But like for me personally, would probably to get all 3 MVPs in 1 week. All 3 DoorDash MVPs in 1 week, so I can starve my team and take all the riches.
And do you reckon you got it today?
Hell no. I think Chaz definitely got it today. I was a beta in the team fights. I was flashing away from like no damage, and in the last fight, I took a whole culling. No one cared. No one wanted to stand in front of it. So I'm pretty sure they didn't want me to get MVP too.
No, they didn't. They messaged me on Twitter before the game.
Yeah, whatever.
You can ask them about it. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Congratulations on the win. Good to see you've turned this one around, and we're excited to watch you play next week.
Thank you. See ya.
There you have it. So, great little interview coming out from Praedyth there. And I can tell you that I have confirmation that Praedyth definitely did not get the DoorDash player that delivered. So, he was right. Now, he wants it 3 days on a Super Week. I think that's a big call. But look, it's not unachievable. It's just going to take a lot. And hopefully we get to see that from him, because we did see a lot of very stunning performances coming out of Praedyth last split. Now, the player that delivered was, in fact, mid laner Chaz. So congratulations to Chaz getting it done with the hashtags there in the post. So good job, Chaz. 9-0 and 8, just tearing up a storm in this game against Peace today. 85% kill participation all over the damn map, and the other percentages speak for themselves. But Rusty, I want you to speak. Tell me why he deserves this.
I mean, he was just hashtag Chazzing it up all over the Rift this game, right? Massive team fight performances coming out of him more than anything else. And was a major part of the pick that happened in mid lane that got them the Baron, that won them the game. And just solid, right? Just a rock running around on the Rift, and did get a lot of attention from Peace, but was untouched, right? 9-0-8 is the end result. So does all the work needed to win the game.
That is the perfect KDA, the one that you definitely need to see. And Pentanet, hopefully for them, it is going to be uphill from here with a better performance to end the week here on Split 2 in Day 9. And it is a good halfway mark, I guess, as we do head towards the 3rd match of the day. That, of course, is going to be Chiefs and Mammoth. But before we get there, make sure you drop on that exclamation playlist in the chat and listening to all the sick tunes that we currently have. Today's tune, of course, is enough for you by featuring Liz Jai by the Aston Shuffle. And we love Aston Shuffle. So please, we're already max chilling, and this song's going to help you take it to the other side. But after it, Chiefs and Mammoth coming up. It's going to be match 3.
Okay. An upgraded Kraken Slayer. They have damage, and if you turn the lights out, what can Peace do to answer back? Lisa jumps in. He may just fall on down. There's the reset for Chaz. Looking to try and take out Biopepper, who's been put to flee, but he can't die. He doesn't. He survives. It's a double kill now for Chaz, who makes it a triple kill.
They may look to dive. Here they go.
Bjornhorn, what can they find with it? That's a massive moonfall by Baba, but is it big enough? He doesn't survive. He